Greetings, everybody. Welcome to a short, or not so short, review on, well, there's a reason why I haven't been uploading videos lately is because I've been spending a lot of time, if not all of my time lately, on this. Remember the game series Generation 6 I said I would never ever play? Yeah, I've been persuaded. Because a lot of people have been saying to me that it is a great game and that I should look for the positive in it. I've been persuaded by over a dozen of you to play it. And I have. I've played it, I've experienced my journey through it, I've done many things in it, and I eventually beat the game all the way to the very end of it. And here to you, I'm going to present my thoughts, opinions, and my own review on the game. Keep in mind that some of these things that I may say that I do not like, you probably will be pissed off at me. So if you have any hate, go ahead and say it right on the comments below. I don't care. Remember, this isn't like a permanent review like how the game should be or anything. It's just my personal experience on it, and I'm giving it a rating based on what I did and what I experienced. This is not an overall rating how great the game is as a whole for everybody, because that's not true. It's just my own opinions on it. And I know a lot of you have a problem with that, but I'm doing this either way because a lot of you really want to know. So, there are 5 categories that I've organized for the overall review of this whole thing. For Omega Ruby. I played Omega Ruby. I'm not doing Alpha Sapphire. There's no point in playing both. For this. There's 5 categories. 1 is nostalgia. 2 is story. 3 is overall presentation. For example, how the game looks and feels. Number 4 is difficulty. And lastly, number 5 is playability. Those are the 5 categories that I'm each going to rate separately. And in the end, we'll have a whole, overall rating together. Now, back to another I never mentioned this, but another reason why I got this thing is because of the whole Dragonite event. It's pretty much what fully triggered me to get it was just because of that Dragonite event, and of course me being a huge Dragonite fan I had to just get it because it wouldn't really be right just keeping the little card where I have one around here somewhere. I'm too lazy to get it, but the little Dragonite card, get Dragonite card without actually using it. So. Let's first talk about the nostalgia, shall we? Now, I'm not going to lie to you. When I first turned this game on, I swear I felt like I fell back in time 10 years. I felt like I was literally in middle school again, playing Emerald for the first time. That is powerful. The fact that this game actually makes me think of my past and how all the first experiences I've had. And I swear, I almost felt like I was gonna go to my favorite science teacher the next day. I swear, because Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald were huge games back then, along with Fire Red and Leaf Green. I was playing at the same time, and I was obsessed with Emerald. I swear, I spent over 400 hours in that game. It's a great game. So one thing I will say about this is it felt great. It really did. The fact, the very beginning, I chose Mudkip at this time instead of Torchic by a dice roll. Actually, I rolled a dice. I didn't really want to pick for myself. I just let fate choose, and I got Mudkip, which is actually a good choice, to be honest. And just catching Pokemon again, and the Route 101. It really did bring back memories. Even with the first little bit of the game, even beating Roxanne. They redid the dungeons or whatever. How about redid the gyms? Dungeon. Oh, I think I have RuneScape on the brain. Pardon me. They redid the gyms, and they look pretty cool. But yeah, even playing and listening to the music, looking at the improved graphics and whatever. We'll talk more about that later. That it just really made me feel like a kid again. I'm 23. Keep that in mind. I shouldn't be playing Pokemon at my age, but you know what? I just do anyway because I've been part of this whole thing for the past 20 years, I guess. I had Blue when it came out as a kid, so yeah. It's almost 20 years. I mean, I can't believe that. But yeah, there is an unfortunately to this. I will say, the more the story progressed, and we'll talk about this after this, is the more the story progressed, the more the nostalgia feeling died. I will say that, because there's a lot of new stuff in it. Yes, it's still based off of the whole Kyogre Groudon thing, but the fact that they were talking about a lot of new stuff that I kind of didn't care about, and I compared it to the old story. I mean, I even did a little research here and there because I just wanted to get all the facts straight. But it kind of, I don't know, kind of ruined it for me. And the fact that, I don't know, it seemed like a lot of the story elements were changed. It was based off of the same thing, but it was like the minor details were changed so much it almost felt like a different game. Still, it's based off the Hoenn region and whatnot. Yes, it still has, Kyogre, Groudon, Rayquaza, etc. in it. But it seemed like the more you looked at it. I mean, unfortunately, about halfway through the game, I didn't really have the same nostalgia feeling anymore, and I feel bad. It shouldn't have died like that, but that's just me. So overall, in terms of giving a grade from E to A, I'm gonna give the nostalgia feeling a D. Unfortunately, it was great in the beginning, but it kind of died after the third gym. I wish it didn't, because I love the fact, I love thinking about the past and whatnot, but the more I played the game, the more I didn't have those feelings anymore. But it was nice to go back in time and experience all that while it lasted. Now moving on to the story. This is the part where everyone's going to hate me. As you know, or may not know, depending on if you just tuned in, I hate anything that has to do with Mega Evolution. I'm against the whole concept. It is completely, it's an overrated thing. All the designs look overdone to me. It doesn't resemble Pokemon at all. It just seems like a cheap tactic just to get more fanboys to buy more games. That's probably an over exaggeration, but you see where I'm getting at. I absolutely hated some of the designs, because overall it makes the previous forms almost useless. The fact that even Charizard, perfect example, I think probably maybe 2% of people use regular Charizard, because if they do end up using them, most likely they're gonna turn him into Mega Charizard X or Y. And well, as far as I know, I think X is banned by now, which that makes no sense. They create all these extra powerful forms, and most of them are being banned one by one. What's the point? But anyway, moving on to the regular story. The story is mainly based off of the primal reversions, obviously, which is apparently it's kind of like a natural version of Mega Evolution, where it's kind of like stepping back, not moving forward. I don't know. I wasn't 100% with this, just because for me, anytime someone talked about Mega Evolution anything, I skimmed it. I did actually read most of it, but a lot of it I just didn't care, because most of the story is based off of the one thing I hate. So I didn't really get to enjoy it too much. It was nice to try to catch Groudon again, and halfway through the game, you did end up getting Latios or Latias, depending on what game you have, for free. Like you didn't even there's no running around through the entire Hoenn region trying to catch them crap. I kind of like that, but at the same time, I didn't. And it was really, really. I mean, a lot of people told me that, oh, you'll get Latios for free if you get a Mega Ruby. You'll get them about halfway through the game, which is true. And I kind of gave it some thought, and I really did like the fact that you get he joins your team out of trust, and I really liked that. However, there were some details that people didn't tell me, and I know why. Because if they did, it would have totally made me not buy the game. And I'm kind of regretting that I even seen this, because it kind of trashed my fandom a little bit of Latias and Latios. Now, I've always wondered why. Why on earth would Latios and Latias get a powerful Mega Evolution if they're pacifists and don't like to fight? Here's the thing with that. According to Steven, and the actual Pokedex information itself. The fact that they are pacifists have been removed from the game entirely, just so they can... I have to reword this right. But yes, they are no longer pacifists, and they actually do like to battle, just like every other dragon type. And the reason why is just so you can use Latios or Latias' Mega Evolution as soon as you get them. Steven clearly says you can practice using Mega Evolution with Latios/Latias. Pretty much stating that the Latias are test dummies for Mega Evolution. So you're telling me that you remove, like, the one unique thing about a dragon type, the fact that they don't like to battle, just to promote Mega Evolution. That pissed me off the minute I discovered that. I had to shut my game off and walk away for 30 minutes. It just so happened the fact that my two favorite Pokemon were changed just for a fucking promotion. Pardon my language, but I may get a little sweary in this. But that's absolute crap. Because it wouldn't make any sense for them to have a Mega Evolution if they're pacifist, because Mega Evolution is a higher source of power, and it's a battling form. So it wouldn't make any sense. So that's why the producers and the writers removed that fact from the game entirely. You will not find that fact in a Gen 6 game. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit on that. You don't change how a Pokemon behaves and thinks and whatever just so you can show off new forms and shit. That's insulting to the original characters to me. It really is. A lot of people don't give a crap because, yeah, using the Mega Latis, you can fly anywhere and get more legends. Oh yeah, that's not a promotion at all. Pretty much stating that the Mega Latis are the only reason why the Latis even, I don't know, exist. Pretty much. It's just terrible. The fact the Soldu is in the game, but that doesn't even have a resemblance anymore. That's just there if you want to use it. It's pretty much just like a random item you pick up if you want to be technical, because it has no influence on the story or whatever at all. Now instead, it's the Latis are protecting the power source they've been searching for their entire lives, the Mega Stones. So they're just as in a search for power and protecting that battling power, just like every other Pokemon. That's like literally the exact opposite of how the Latis used to be in previous generations. And to me, that is just a big middle finger. Also stating, too, is the fact that pretty much according to Xenia and, I don't know, the whole story concept, Rayquaza is only useful when he's in his Mega Evolution. That's a bullshit lie, too. I remember back then, if you use Dragon Dance and Outrage ordinarily, Rayquaza kicks ass. Since when all of a sudden now is he powerless? It's all bullshit. It really is. They changed 3 legends just to promote a stronger form. It's crap. It really is. I can't even look at Latios and Latias the same way ever again, just because the fact that they screwed them over so hard and changed the entire outlook. That's the number one thing I hate about the story. It doesn't necessarily have to be because of the Latis. That was just terrible luck on my end. But it's the fact that they changed Pokemon's behavior and traits just for a promotion. And you know it. Some people love the promotion because obviously the newer forms are so badass and whatnot that nobody cares. But me, I don't. That's not gonna make me fly. It shouldn't happen to the Latis. It shouldn't happen to Rayquaza or any Hoenn legend, pretty much. Why don't you give Deoxys attack form a Mega Evolution while you're at it? That would be fun. Make the attack so broken it crashes the game when used. But anyway, the whole entire story is basically one big promotion for the new forms that they keep sending out. Pretty much trying to get people hyped and so involved in it that that's the only thing that matters. So that's why, for overall, the story for me gets an E or an F. E is the lowest. I didn't really enjoy the story concept at all because it was based off of the one thing I hate, and the more you keep talking about it, I'm not going to listen. It's like sitting in history class again, and you're just going to ignore most of the lectures you're not interested in. And I'm not being tested on it, so why should I care? At least in history class you get tested, but in this, you can just zoom right through it. You don't have to listen to them. You're like, oh look, it's Groudon. Wait, why are you here again? Master Ball, done. And so yes, sadly that is the one thing that I will never forgive this game for. Is that not once have I ever used Mega Evolution in the game, ever, not once. The only exception to that is when you're literally forced to use Rayquaza in the Mega Rayquaza in the Delta episode to fight Deoxys. That doesn't count because I didn't choose to. In fact, when I faced Xenia, you know who I used instead of Rayquaza? Flygon, and he one KO'd everybody. That's for Mega Rayquaza right there. Yeah. One thing I will say though is that I didn't expect this. Is that I totally forgot that Wally would actually use Mega Gallade. So I used my Gallade and whooped his Mega Gallade in one shot. That was hilarious. And the fact that he gives you a Dawn Stone and to use the Dawn Stone on a Kirlia to get a Gallade in the name of him is hilarious because of the fact that what did I just kick his butt with? So that kind of screwed up the story there for a minute. That was like the one laugh I had. The fact that I whooped his Mega Gallade with a Regi Gallade in one shot. It was a critical hit, that I will say. But still, the fact that it happened was just freaking sweet. Alright, now that all that negativity out of the way, let's go on to the next one. Presentation. That's more like music of the game, graphics, just how the game feels as a whole. Story not included, because obviously that has different feelings. That's one thing I'll give the Generation 6 credit for. The presentation is spot on. I have no complaints about it. I literally do not have a single complaint. I have to admit it. The Pokemon in 3D, yes, it's big. It's not as good as like the Wii or Wii U or anything, but it's a handheld console. They're getting there. Give it time. But for what it is now, it is freaking amazing. The Pokemon are in full 3D, they have full animations and whatnot. It makes it seem a lot realer than it used to be. No more 8-bit or 16-bit designs or whatever that have an occasional animation once in a while. Or even black and white where they did move, but the graphics were choppy as hell. No. The graphics in this game are unbelievable. It's everything that a gamer like me who's played like Generation 1 and 2 and even 3 has dreamt of as a kid. Just the 3D graphics and the experience to have like real Pokemon with you. That is spot on. The graphics will improve, but for what they are now with this current game, 100% good. I loved it. The fact that you can even see the battles in 3D, it's kind of like how Battle Revolution did it. To be honest, it was that kind of style. Except Battle Revolution was just a little bit better in graphics. Not quite designed, but just like the graphics and whatnot. Because some of the Pokemon design were half-assed in that game, I will say. Dragon. But yeah, and also music. I love the music throughout the entire game. The music was great. Not only did it feel like it's weird. One thing to say with the remix themes, it was like a combination of like the old and the new to me. It did bring back nostalgia, and at the same time, it brought back something new. That is great. There's not one song in this whole soundtrack list so far that I've heard that I don't like, and that's great. And even like the overall map or whatever, as my friend said, nobody looks like little tiny like midget sprites or anything. They actually look like real people. That is another thing that's really cool. That, and one thing I will say is that Wally's theme, when you face him, I was not expecting that. That is a complete U-turn in terms of Pokemon, and when I first heard that, I swear I was playing Dynasty Warriors. Probably because of the guitar in it, but I never thought that a Dynasty Warriors-based song or sounding song could work in a Pokemon game, but it does. It does. That song I'll always remember. The only problem I have with that song is I wish the loops were just a little bit longer, like a guitar solo or something. But then again, it isn't Dynasty Warriors, so whatever. Still love that song. So we have presentation. Overall presentation, just how the game looks, sounds, etc. A. A plus if I could, but just highest thing. A. Guaranteed A. That's one thing I have to say. Try not to rhyme, god damn it. Alright, now moving on to the difficulty. Ugh, pardon me. Ugh. Shouldn't have had tomato soup for lunch. Anyway, moving on to difficulty of the game. There is something wrong with the difficulty on this. I don't even know why. Pardon me, but my computer decided to have a hissy fit right now. Oh, much better. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Difficulty. Sorry, Norton decided to pop up and ruin my freaking presentation. Good for you. But pardon me for the choppiness, but of course it ruined it. Anyway, moving on to difficulty of this game. One key factor that really influences the difficulty on this game, and it's not Mega Evolution for once, it's the EXP share item in this game. Remember back when you used to grind for hours on end just to get a good team and you had to reface trainers over and over again? That honestly isn't the case here anymore. As soon as you get the EXP share item, and as soon as you get your base team and whatnot, raising your Pokemon has never been easier. How it works in this game is that all of your Pokemon that haven't battled gain a sum of the EXP. I think it's half. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's half. It shouldn't be max because that wouldn't make any damn sense. So, but even with half, that really, it makes the game a hell of a lot easier. It really does. You do have the option to turn it off if you want to go old school, but who's going to? The fact that since the option's there, people are going to use it, and I did too. The reason why is because I wanted to play the game how they wanted me to, minus Mega Evolution. But the EXP share, I left that on, and I'll be honest, by the Elite Four, the first run of the Elite Four, I had level 71s and 2s. And this is not, I hardly grinded at all. The first time I did was in the beginning when I got up to like level 10-ish for my team, which was like Talo, Mudkip, Zigzagoon, and Ralts. That's who I had at the time, but that's the first time I ever grinded there. And, oh yeah, Poochyena, I forgot to mention Poochyena. But that's the first time I've ever grinded there. And then the second time was when I was trying to get a Dawnstone on the Sea Mauville to get a Gallade. And I did eventually get it, but it took me about, I have to say, an hour. I think maybe like about 12 battles. But that was the only time I ever grinded there as well. Other than that, I faced every trainer normally at least once. Never really faced him again. But by the end of that, after you face everybody, I had like level 70s. And if I didn't grind, it'd probably be like 65-ish for them. But even still, in the high 60s is still really easy to beat the Elite Four. I'll be honest. I think I one-shotted almost every Pokemon I even ran into, including Mega Metagross. So yeah, overall, the difficulty because of that one item, and if you use Mega Evolution, yeah, it's going to be a piece of freaking cake for you. Trust me. So if you ever do use that, yeah, it's literally going to be a cinch. So I kind of had a small handicap by not doing that, and using the Mega Forms at all. But still, even with the EXP share item, I mean, yeah, the Elite Four wasn't a problem. So yeah, unfortunately, since you have the option to turn the EXP share off, I will say the difficulty is about a C. Because it really is a lot easier than other games. And the fact that you have so many trainers to train off of, I mean, there's no backtracking or anything too much. But yeah, overall, I don't think I've ever lost a battle in the main story at all. I almost did once because I faced Norman a lot earlier than I should have, and I just barely squeaked out a win with Marshtomp, who had yellow health. But other than that, it's not really too difficult. I honestly prefer I think of it more as a casual playthrough than like really anything difficult. But regardless, it was still enjoyable. Now, last thing we're going to be looking at is playability, and that means pretty much all the things you can do in this game besides the main story. Of course, is the classic catch all the Pokemon in the Hoenn region, which I haven't done that, and I don't think I will. I may fool around once in a while, but I think I've had my fair share of this game for a while. They have the contests back, which are back to basics, but even those are slightly easier because back in the day you could only feed your Pokemon a certain number of Pokeblocks before you can't anymore. In this game, there's no limit, so therefore, contests with the right moves are actually a lot easier. So there's that. There's the secret bases. There's the battle resort. There's the soaring in the sky thing. There's you can train your Pokemon with the super training Pokemon and Me, which it's like Big Yellow Buddy Simulator. I just wanted to see all the things that Latios and Dragonite could do. I don't have Latios yet because I get the Eon ticket. Eventually I will, though. That's the thing I've always wanted in a game like that, is to be able to interact with your Pokemon that's not battling, and that was it. That's cool. That's something that should have been in the game a while ago, but obviously they couldn't program it up until now. But the fact that it exists now, that is really cool. Now the one thing that I will say is that once again, if there's a lot of other tasks that if you do not use Mega Evolution like me, there's stuff you can't do or have a hard time doing. For example, soaring in the sky. Well, I can't do that because if I were to, that means I would use Mega Latios, and I don't want to do that. Trust me. Them legends can stay up in those mirage spots all they want. I don't care. Now, there is the thing with online battling. Oh boy. Yeah, I also tried that, which was a big mistake. Because if you do not use Mega Evolution, you are pretty much giving yourself like a ×2 handicap. Big time. Maybe it's even more than that. Well, I've tried about 15 or so battles, and honestly, I can count all the wins I have on my hand. Actually, wait, no, that's not true, because if that were the case, I would have to saw my hand off. Yeah, I lost every single battle. I also did where all the Pokemon stats are even, still lost every freaking time. I was a couple of times where I was really close, but if you don't use Mega Forms, you're really fucking yourself over. And honestly, I can't enjoy that. It's like standing against a wall and get repetitively whipped. It's not fun, and it hurts. So, it's online battles I'm going to stay away forever. Because it's just not fun. If I don't go by the franchise's rules, then I get punished for it. So, I'm not going to participate at all. So, so other tof that, there's a bunch of stuff to do in the game. It's still really fun, and it will bring a lot, like trying to find all of the items in the game too, like all the TMs and whatnot. The playability is still up there. A lot of people still play the heck out of the game today because there's so many things to do. That I will say that it's good. But once again, if you don't use Mega Evolution like me, there's some things you just physically can't do. Yes, I'm stubborn. Deal with it. So overall, with playability, I'm gonna give it a B because it's still really fun to just screw around and have fun, whatnot. You can even re-challenge gym leaders. That I always found to be fun. You always wanted to give the gym leader another try, just for fun. That's one thing that I always liked. But yes, overall, this is a pretty good game, and I honestly didn't hate it as much as I did. The only thing that pissed me off the most, which really ruined the rest of it for me, was the storyline. How if you don't like Mega Evolution, it's just complete shit. I didn't enjoy the story pretty much at all. I never understood that though. So someone that just wants to enjoy the game, besides Mega Evolution, can't have the same full experience. That's a fail in my opinion, because there should be something for everybody, but no, that's majority always rules with these newer games. It's what it's what the most people want to see, and for everybody else, like me, I just have to either suck it up and deal with it or not play the game at all. That's not really fair, but then again, nobody cares. So, other than that, it is still a good game. I still enjoyed it for the most part. Made it to beginning to end. Used the team that I wanted to do, and at least for the regular story, you're not forced to use Mega Evolution, even though Steven really highly recommends the shit out of it. Whatever. I don't care. My Pokemon are fine enough friends. If we're not extra close because of Mega Evolution, then whatever. See you on the flip side. So that is it. That is my whole rant on this game. It wasn't 100% bad. There's a lot of things I liked. And honestly, I am dying to know what the new Super Mystery Dungeon game is going to be like, because is it literally going to be like this whole Mega Evolution thing again? Judging by the story so far, it looks like it is not. But at the same time, I'm guessing Mega Evolution is going to be the solution to whatever problem it is. It seems to be now. That's just how it is. I don't know why everybody in these games, including the characters in the game, worship each Mega Evolution like an individual god, but that's how things are today. And I feel bad for every Pokemon that can't Mega Evolve, because they're losing value like crazy. Flygon, no. Milotic, no. Dragonite, starting to as well. Didn't at first, but now it's starting to drop. That sucks. So it's like an exclusive club, pretty much. Any Pokemon that can't Mega Evolve, then throw them in the recycle bin. I'm only reading what the forums tell me. Don't worry, I'll still like you guys. I'll still like all the classics, and I will only use the classics. Every Mega Stone I found, I threw out. Think I'm kidding? No. Yeah, I tossed them out. You can go searching for them in the dumpster if you want. But then again, if you did that, you'd be quite desperate, wouldn't you? That is it. That is all I'm doing. Before I keep insulting more of you guys, that is all I have to say about that. It's been 32 minutes on this whole review. Overall, the game gets a C, if I haven't said so already. That's not bad. That means I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more than I thought. So, good job. Omega Ruby is not a fail in terms of those who do not like Mega Evolution. There is something for everyone to enjoy, for the most part. But for those who don't like it like me, you'll still get a good kick out of it. So I say get it, especially if you like the Hoenn region as much as I do. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed or disenjoyed and this whole review on my personal review on it. Feel free to insult me back in the comments below. Trust me, I mean, I've heard death threats before, so nothing phases me now. So, go ahead, say whatever you like too, your favorite thing is about the game, least favorite thing, etc. I'll be willing to read it. And that is all. I'm signing out, and I will see you next time.